All right, here we go. Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the Garage Gym Experiment podcast. My name is Adam. Down there, that's Jake, and we're back again for another great episode. On tonight's episode, Jake got the Rogue Echo Rower, so he's going to share with you his first impressions. We haven't talked about it yet. I told him to wait until we started airing this because I wanted to hear about it with you guys. After that, we have a HomeGymCon update. Floor plans came out today. It looks incredible. We have new products from Aviron? Is that how you say it, Jake? How you say it?
Aviron.
Aviron? Okay. Freak Athlete and Kabuki. We have Home Gym Tech Stats. And then we're going to wrap this thing up with how many are impressed with the Rogue new product releases in 2024. Jake, I can't wait to hear about the Rogue Rower.
All right. Thank you, Adam. So the Rogue Rower went for sale yesterday. I picked it up right away. And it shipped in like 24 hours. So I was able to set it up today and then play with it I would say I did a full workout in like about 20 to 30 minutes worth of actual using. So just keep that in mind. Like I've had it this afternoon and I've done a single workout with it. So these are just some pretty basic first impressions. So number one, the setup, it shipped UPS and it shipped in a box. The main frame was together. You simply just needed to add things like the seats and the wheels, the monitor. It was pretty easy. I think I did it on and off. I think if I did it in one sitting, it'd probably be about 30 to 45 minutes. Initial impressions of just the rower before using is, it seems bigger than like any of the other rowers. In general, I don't think it's too much larger. I think it's a bit wider, like a couple inches wider, and then like 3 inches longer than the Concept 2, for example, and like relatively similar weight. I think it weighs like 72 pounds. I think it looks so big because I think the tubing's bigger. I wish I would have had a Concept 2 rower right next to it to compare it side by side. That would have made it a lot easier. But the tubing's bigger. In general, it's bulky. Not necessarily a bad thing. It doesn't take up any more space. But maybe a better option for bigger people. The storage was pretty easy to do. Just kind of folds in and you can wheel it around on the wheels, pretty easily. The monitor, again, not enough use to really give too much feedback, but it was good. Pretty similar to the Echo monitor, but I would say with a rowing kind of touch. It had a few different like rowing scenarios on there. You could easily move it between like calories and rowing meters. Pretty similar like metrics compared to the Concept 2 rower. In terms of resistance, like I said, I wish I would have had them side by side. If the resistance felt pretty much the same as a Concept 2 rower. I think I would have liked to see something with a little more resistance or a little bit more versatility. Maybe like there's a 1 to 10 scale, just like the Concept 2. And, it'd be cool if they could have changed at least the resistance to maybe like a 1 to 15. So something that was a little bit stronger. The flywheel was very smooth. The gliders were really smooth. In general, it was a pretty standard rowing experience. I mean, cool new product, but it was honestly just a rower. I've used many of the different style rowers, and they're all about the same. Whether it's Concept 2, whether it's Zebex, whether it's the Blitz from Bells of Steel. Sure, there's a few things that are different, but they all are kind of the same rower, and you kind of get the same workout. I think the biggest thing is I would have loved to see something a little different from Rogue, and I think that for me would have been more resistance variability, and I would have liked to see it go higher. I also did a quick test at Ursa with the rep prototypes, and the resistance, from what I remember, was quite a bit stronger. It's kind of hard to like remember exactly that compared to this, but believe it was harder, and that was nice to be able to change it to. So, but yeah, I mean, it's pretty standard rower. The price, like we shared on the last newsletter, like the price between a Rogue rower and a Concept 2 rower shipped is like $175, with Rogue being the cheaper. I think that's a big enough difference for someone who's not like looking to compare from person to person, like in a CrossFit gym. So you're not like, if you're just buying a standard rower and you're not looking to like make sure it compares specifically to wherever you're getting your programming from, that might be enough of a difference for you to purchase the Rogue option. I think the Concept 2 is still the standard. They were the innovators. They brought it to market. I don't think the Rogue option, which is like, it's like I said, it's well made, very like well put together. It's still like you can tell it's a made in China piece. So yeah, I don't think it deserves to have like the same price as a Concept 2, and I think it's priced relatively fairly. You can also go to Bells of Steel and get a pretty similar rowing experience to the Rogue rower for a couple $100 cheaper. There are a couple of nifty features. So number one would be the quick release pedals. So there were a few times where I actually went to tighten the strap, but you don't need to. It's just a flick of a button, and you can either tighten it or unrelease. So that is a nice feature that isn't on anything else. And the turf tires are a nice touch. So it is basically that standard rowing experience with a few nice touches, I should say. What are your questions?
Cool. Yeah, my questions, you can't tell from the picture. What are you pulling on? Is that a cable? Is that a chain, or is that a belt?
That is a chain.
Chain. Got it.
In general, if you're comparing the Concept 2 rower to the Rogue, to a budget friendly, I think the Rogue one is, it's a solid one that's most likely going to last forever. It seems like it has similar warranties to everything else. But yeah, I mean, I would recommend it. But I would still say, like, if you want the best, you want the standard, you could say it's still the Concept 2. And again, this is based off of one workout, but
your overall take, spending less money, like, are you happy with what you purchased?
Yeah, I just like needed a rower. I haven't had a rower in a while, and this popped up and I was like, might as well. Yeah.
Sweet.
All right, let's move on to a quick HomeGymCon update. So within the last few days, we added 2 new vendors. That brings the total up to 82. Barefoot Shoes decided that they want in this year, and then also RitFit. So RitFit, one of the budget-friendly rack options. You might be seeing them all over social media. I got some pretty friendly and excited emails. So they were very excited, which is always really nice to hear. So they are in, and then we also started the booth selection process. So that was one of those things where we really wanted to make sure it was right before we start selecting all of these, getting all of these companies into specific spots. right before this podcast. Reached out to the first one. They got back to me pretty quickly, and Rep's the first one. So they were the first choice because they won multiple awards last year and are third-year returning vendors. Next up is going to be ATX and Executive Fit, who also won some awards. Oh, and Black Widow. So they'll be the first ones to choose, and then we'll we'll do basically one or two at a time until everyone's filled out. So this will probably take like a full month to fill out and get everyone in place. But it should be cool for people to follow along.
Yeah, the map just looks absolutely massive. Jake, what's the space on the right side? So above the strongman area, kind of like the blank space there. Is that like the shape of the room? Is it an L-shaped room, or is that like entranceway? What is that?
So that is like another hall that we don't have access to.
Gotcha.
So I should also say, just in general, the space I think is about 3 times larger than last year. And there should be about 2 times more vendor space. So, all right, let's move on to some new products. So the first one is the one that Adam couldn't pronounce, but the Aviron Fit Bike. So this is a Peloton style bike plus much more, with the gamified experience kind of being the key differentiator. So I'm actually going to pull up. So the Aviron Fit Bike, so kind of like Peloton on steroids. It's a basic bike. There is a membership that you need to pay for, but it includes, here, let me see if I can scroll down to it. There's also this walkthrough is like 41 minutes. It's one of the most thorough walkthroughs of a product you will ever see. It's very well done. But there's coach classes. There's like games. I imagine like games that tell you to go faster, go slower, go this, go that, score these points if you go this fast. So that type of thing. Scenic destinations, streaming, etc., etc. I think the games is kind of the coolest thing. Basically, it also looks like a better bike than the Peloton. So I think basically this is just a better version of the Peloton. Next up, Freak Athlete released the Hyper Pro. So the Nordic Hyper was a very popular product where I think they said 7-in-1, where you could do, reverse hyper, GHD, back extensions, etc., etc. This one looks even more versatile and more robust. So it's the Nordic Hyper Plus. Let's see, and it says they have XL rollers, Pro padding, 14 different inclines. Let's see. Here's a good. So it says Nordic, back extensions, GHD, reverse hyper, sit up. So all of these are things you could do. Hip thrust, leg extension, ham curl. This upper body one is new. I don't know about this, where they pretty much attach like a handle and to the leg curl extension and like do certain movements. And also you can store it vertically. They also have some pretty good videos on the website. I think this looks like a winner. I mean, this is about as versatile as it gets. It's one of those things where you're going to have to like set it up each time, change it up for each use, but in general. Do you hear that?
Oh yeah.
Maybe we lost it.
Burr.
All right. Well, you get the point. I think the last one was the one I wanted to see the most, though. It's them doing the like upper body stuff.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think about this?
Yeah, I always question, especially when it's set up like the picture is right now. So if you're not watching, you're listening when it's set up as the GHD. It always looks so unstable to me. But I've seen enough people use it and be happy with it that it must be better than what it looks. I do, for myself personally, something that you have to do too many adjustments with. You just can't like wheel it out and use it. So if I wanted to, for example, set up like, I don't know, back extensions on this, and it takes more fidgeting than like what I'm willing to do in the amount of time I have, like I'll just like grab a bar and do good mornings instead. I think it is really cool though. I love that you can do so much with it. If I had a piece, I would also try to make it do as much as it could. So, yeah, I think it's awesome. People seem to be really happy with it that have it. So,
yeah, it's definitely a good product. I'm with you. Like in a perfect world, you don't have to have just one that you have to adjust, but you know, it would be a good, like if you have the basics, this would probably be a pretty good like first specialty type machine to add quite a bit of versatility to your home gym. So, and plus I do like, there's a few of these that are like iffy. Like I said, the upper body, the reverse hyper, definitely like that's not really a reverse hyper. Without
weightless one, it's got its place, but I'd prefer something that you could add weight to.
But yeah, most of it looks pretty good.
Yeah.
And then the last new product, let's let this load. But the Kabuki Transformer X Bar is up for pre-order. So this, you know, I don't want to misspeak, but I think it's just kind of like the updated version of the Transformer bar. So it says squat free with the best bar on earth. Alleviate all loads from the wrist, elbows, shoulders, and neck, while it's in multiple positions to allow unparalleled customization. So that pad, I think AbMat is the maker of that pad. That looks incredibly comfortable. Let's see. Yeah, so AbMat, so our collab with AbMat reduced all load on the neck. They only have the black ice finish right now, but that should help to keep it from getting rusty. You know, I think this is one of those where I really need to see a video. And this is the best picture of the full bar, but it does look like a pretty advanced version of a squat bar. And like I said, as pretty comfortable. For $8.99, I think that's probably going to be a tough one to swallow for most home gym owners, but in general, I think this looks pretty cool. Definitely going to need to be something that we see some reviews on before, like, you'd want to probably purchase this one, or at least some videos, because there's not even any videos right now on it, but looks awesome, right?
Yeah, it looks great. Pad looks amazing. Yeah, it looks like they changed the decal. This is so minor, but I don't love the decal on the adjustment part where you put it from like, front squat, low back, high back. It's got that X. I don't know. They have such like a cool logo. Like just like a giant like the tribal Kabuki guy there. I think would look awesome. I mean, most people won't even care, but
I'm with you. Maybe just add a cool sticker over it.
I mean, just look at the website, top left corner, that Kabuki right there, and it could even say Kabuki Power right next to it. Like, that would be sweet. They have like one of the coolest logos, I think, for like a home gym company.
Yeah, it still says Kabuki Strength. I'm wondering if they're gonna switch that up to Kabuki Power.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm definitely gonna be on the lookout for. I'm interested to see how that one goes. To see if people catch on to that or not. All right, and then to conclude, we have some data that we'll go over pretty quickly. So first, some technology stats. So a question that we've asked for a couple years is, how do you feel about tech entering the home gym space? So you could either answer fan, or big fan, neutral, or keep me away. The fan plus big fan votes equaled 34%. About 48% are just neutral, so almost half. And then 19% say keep me away. We have some small increases in the interest. So in 2023, only 10.58% voted big fan, whereas 17% this time around voted, which is over a 50% increase. So small number, but over 50% increase. The overall fan votes were up 9%. Neutral was down 15%, although it still makes up most of the vote, or that was the highest vote getter. Those were down. And then keep me away went from 18% to 19%. And then some additional tech stats. So while most are neutral, 47% do use technology to improve their fitness. 22% believe a piece of fitness equipment caught their attention, and 225, so not really that many. And then kind of a hypothetical question we asked where 40% believe that a company like Rep or Rogue, who are all currently on top, need to implement some sort of great technology into their products to still be on top in 10 years. So about 2 out of 5 think that, but most do not. Any thoughts on that data, Adam?
No. Where do you stand on technology?
So the only tech that I like for my favorite tech is my Garmin watch. That's my favorite. I've had a Whoop. It was just overkill for me. And the monthly subscriptions suck. I like the only technology, I guess you could say, I have in my home gym, like other than like not counting like a monitor, would be the stepper. And I don't even really use it. I like the stepper for what the stepper is, but I don't use it for like streaming platforms or the workout classes and stuff like that. I'm not like, I would say I'm a fan of the technology that can replicate resistance if it can save space, or like the Voltras. Like once those get to a certain price, that would be awesome. And then things like, it'd be cool to have that for like plate loaded machines instead of a stat, it'd be cool to use that to save space as opposed to like carrying around a plate load or a heavy selectorized machine and replace those pretty easily with a plate loaded machine. Things like that. It's not, I don't know if you would necessarily consider that too much technology, but you know.
Yeah. I think they're cool. I think a machine with that would be cool, as long as like I don't have to pay to maintain it or like suffer the cost when it breaks. You know, when you bring batteries or technology or anything with a computer into your space, like it's got a life on it, and when that life expires, like that's a big price tag it's going to come with. So I generally say keep me away. I do like tech when it comes, like you said, like a Garmin, like tracking tech. I think that's all fine and dandy. You know, I like my Strava and things like that. But as far as like usage, I don't know. I like the clang of steel, and I don't know. I tend to shy away from it. But that's not to say that something can't enter and, you know, win me over as if it needs to. But
I don't really want to be staring at a screen during my workouts.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I would say I'm pretty neutral.
Yep.
Yeah. And in terms of like the rogue or rep question, if they need to implement technology, I have no idea.
I would like to say no, but we don't know what 10 years is going to look like.
Yeah.
But
yeah. All right. And then lastly, so we asked, are you impressed with rogue new product releases in 2024? Only 41% are impressed. And I was, right before we did this, I scanned their new products section, and the ones that they specifically released under their brand seem to be the rower, the rack mounted, what was that thing called? Single mount roller, the mount roller, something like that. The Rogue Echo Vest, the Rogue Mace, and then the Rogue Functional Trainers. The CTM isn't out yet. I think if the CTM may have been out, then that might have boosted this a little bit. But yeah, looking back at it, they really haven't added too much. But that functional trainer, that's a pretty big project. So
yeah, it feels like they're starting to, and I feel like the people who said they're not impressed are under the impression that it was like too little too late. Not too little too late. That's the wrong way to say it. But that they're playing catch up and things they should have already had under R&D. I feel like that might be the thought process there. That's kind of the conversations we've had.
Yeah, I have a feeling that they'll be pretty active this next year.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt they're still like an amazing company, and everyone who would talk negatively on like their product releases would give their left nut for like a brand new one. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, it's not like you're going to say no to Rogue equipment. Yeah. People get like, kind of like, I catch myself sometimes like, oh, well, about time. But like, it's so good. It's so good. Like the rack functional trainers, like I put my hands on them at HomeGymCon and I was super impressed. Like everything worked better than you could have imagined. Like it was smooth and just well built and robust and awesome. So still an awesome company is what I was trying to say.
Totally.
Totes.
All right.
Cool. We'll wrap it up there. That's going to do it for us. If you like tonight's episode, be sure to keep your eye out for new episode releases wherever you listen to your podcasts. And be sure to follow Knurled News. Not subscribed yet? Check out the link below and sign up for more home gym content. Guys, HomeGymCon's coming up next June. Floor plans are out. Keep your eye on the floor plan. Watch us grow it out. We want to see you out there. Louisville, Louisville, or Louisville, however you say it, in June. Buy your tickets now. Book your hotels at the Galt House. We want to see you there. Jake, anything else left for the listeners?
Nope.
All right, guys. We'll catch you next time. Thanks for listening, and goodbye.